missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week's episode, I'm going to take this creative color client and we are going to transition her into a natural tone. The last color that we did on her was kind of like a sunset melt or like a pinkish ombre. So this is pretty much how her hair has faded out. It has some residual green and some pink in there. So we're going to try to remove some of the green out and try to get her to more of a natural tone, or at least get her to fade into something more natural, because she does have some events coming up later in the year where she needs her hair back to like a natural tone. So for this client's color, it's been about 5 months since we've retouched her roots. So I'm going in around the hairline, starting at the nape here, and just kind of detailing the hairline a little bit. I'm going to do a few little baby light foils just to frame this part. I like to detail the hairline here in the back, because when she wears her hair up or if she brings her hair forward, this is where she's going to see all that color there. So I do like to color this part and kind of detail it so that it looks colored, even though we're going to be leaving some depth right above it. So after taking 2 baby lights, I took a section about, I would say, 1/2 inch, so leaving that dimension right there underneath, and I continue to take about diagonal backs. This is going to soften the highlights a bit, and I'm starting to transition into more of a slight chunky weave. And then after I pretty much reach the top of the ear here, I'm going to take this back section and only highlight the middle of it all the way towards the top. And you'll see later, this is going to create a mohawk section to where I continue my highlight pattern. So here is my mohawk section. So from that section where I was right above the ear, that's where I started to take this center part sectioning. And as I get closer to the top, when I reach the crown of the head, I pretty much take more so of a medium to small weave, leaving some dimension in between. This is going to create a very dimensional and soft grow out for her when her roots grow in. This way she can go a little bit longer in between appointments, and when her color grows out, it grows out really seamless and soft, and she doesn't feel the need to do her roots so quickly. By the way, for my products, I started using the Blonde Me Schwarzkopf lightener. I mixed up a bowl of 6 and 20, and then after that I continued the rest of the head using just 20 volume. So I continue my mohawk sectioning all the way up until I get close to the front money piece. And then just as I'm a few foils from the money piece, I go ahead and turn her around and begin to do her money piece sectioning. So I start off doing a few slices just to give her a nice bright face frame, and then I continue my weave pattern as I get towards the other side of that mohawk section. I decided to do this type of sectioning because doing the back in one go instead of splitting the back into 2 sections made it a lot faster. So I'm able to just do that whole back section in just one row, and then you'll see I'll catch that hair that are on the sides of that mohawk section as I do her sides later after I finish this top part. So after I do a few foils back to back with no negative space in between to create that nice bold money piece, then I go back and continue my regular weaving pattern, leaving more dimension so that it blends all together with the back part of her hair. So depending on where your clients part their hair is where I typically determine where this top section is. She parts a little off to the side, but it is closer to the middle, so I decided to do the mohawk section in the center. But if she did part further off to the side, then I would kind of move that mohawk section according to her part line. So once I was done with the top part, I moved on to the sides, and here I'm just detailing the hairline again on the sides here and doing a few foils just to give her a nice face frame and bold pop on around the face. And then after I do a few baby lights back to back, that's when I'm going to start leaving in that dimension and some negative space in between my highlights. And some of these highlights, as I get closer towards the back, will get a little bit more chunky as I go with more dimension in between. So I let my client's foils process to about a level 9 and 10, and then once the foils reach that, we rinsed it out and then applied a little bit of liner on the ends really quick to try and brighten up the ends, and try also to remove some of that green. But some of the green wasn't really budging too much, so I went ahead and mixed up some of Pulp Riot's blank canvas. So blank canvas is Pulp Riot's color remover, so this is going to help try and remove some of that semi-permanent that is stained on the hair. I don't want to use any more liner because I wanted something a little bit more gentle, so blank canvas is perfect for that because it really does help remove any type of residual dye that has stained the hair. And then for her root shade, I'm going to go mix up 7-0 and apply them both together. So after towel drying her hair, I began to apply the Liquid Demi 7-0 for her shadow root all over. I'm going to leave out her hairline money piece because I don't want that part to get too dark, but I'm okay with the back part fully processing with that root shade. And then after I apply the root shade everywhere, that's when I'm going to be applying the blank canvas on the mids and ends, just to kind of try and remove some of that green again, to see if it'll lift out at all. So this is going to save me time as the root shade processes and as the blank canvas kind of processes to try and remove that dye. Also, whenever I use blank canvas, I always like to use it with 6 volume, and I typically will mix it 1, 2, 3 with the 6 volume. I find that it is pretty powerful, even though it's very gentle on the hair. I never feel like the hair feels super dry or anything after using it. I feel like it always feels pretty good, even though it is removing color, and I do like to use it over bleach to let it sit longer because of that reason. So after I applied the blank canvas everywhere, I pretty much just let this sit for about like 15 minutes at most, and then just kind of watched it, kept an eye on it. After the 15 minutes, we washed it out, and then that's when I tried to decide what toner to use. Some of the green didn't come out all the way, so to try and cancel that out, we went ahead and mixed up more of like a pinkish toner to kind of cancel out that green so that everything could like fade into a blonde. So for the pink toner, I pretty much mixed up 9-0 and then did like half a capful of -66, which is the red booster, and I applied it onto the ends where the green was first because I wanted to keep an eye on it. I didn't want it to go too pink, but I wanted enough of the pink to show to where there was no more green, and so I applied it on the ends first before applying it everywhere else because I wanted to see how dark we had to go for it to cancel out all of the green. So after I saw that all of the green was pretty much covered, I went ahead and rinsed off the ends and then started to apply on the rest of the hair to kind of create a nice melt. So since our goal was to be a natural tone, I decided to tone the ends first because I wanted to see how light we could keep the hair and the pink. So as long as all of the green was pretty much canceled out, that's when I rinsed it off and then went ahead and applied the pink all over to the rest of the hairs to create a nice melt. And then that way I could just let the top part tone a little bit darker than the end so that it kind of created a nice gradient, and then have this fade out to a nice blonde. Alrighty guys, so here's the end result. You can see that there's a slight hue of that pink tone, but all of the green is pretty much neutralized. The ends look almost blonde, and I would say pretty much in like a few washes this will probably all turn into a natural tone. We did let the root get a little bit deeper of that tone, that pinkish tone, but it'll honestly wash out so fast because it's so pastel. And yeah, she just has to maintain the blonde with some purple shampoo once all of this washes out because it will fade more on the golden and warm side. So I think the biggest thing out of this is whenever you have a creative color client or someone who is thinking about doing creative color, it's really good to explain to them if they ever want to go back to like a natural tone, that it might take them sessions to get there. For instance, this one, she knew that if she did any type of blue, it would fade green, and if we were going back to a natural tone, she would have to do a few sessions of maybe doing a pink or a purple, or even doing like a color remover like we did today, and also just take a few sessions to get back to a blonde without having any type of fashion tone. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in, and I will talk to you guys next week.